Hey everyone, welcome and thanks for tuning in to Allied Health Mentors. My name is Eddie, and today I wanted to go over some websites and resources that you can use to find a job in the allied health professions. Now, if you've watched my last videos, you know that I am a certified phlebotomy technician here in the state of California, so I am going to use the position of phlebotomist or phlebotomy technician as an example, but really the tips I'm going to go over can be used for any allied health profession such as CNA, X-ray tech, medical assistant, sonographer. You can use these same tricks when you're searching for jobs in any allied health position, but I am going to use phlebotomy just because it is my expertise. Um, I do have a lot of former students of mine that ask me how do they find a job, or I have people that I run into who are new in the phlebotomy field who are looking for a job and kind of unsure how to get out of where they're at now. And I always tell them these same tips, but it's probably nice to have it on video so that they can go back and rewatch it whenever they want instead of just a conversation that we have on the fly. So just to get right into it, we're starting off with Indeed.com. Now, if you've ever looked for a job ever in your life in the 21st century, you've landed on Indeed because they're everywhere. They have commercials, they put ads on Google. They're really the main search engine to find jobs here in the modern era. So if you go to Indeed and what you're looking for is phlebotomy, and then the area, you can get specific and put like your hometown, wherever you're from, if you want to work close by. But I put California, and the reason why I broaden my range so much is because you guys have to remember that if you're a CPT1, if you have a CPT1 license, your license is good throughout the state. And the same goes for other allied health professionals. Either you have a national certification or you have a state certification. And if you're young or you're single and you don't have anything tying you down to your specific hometown or your city, why not branch out? Why not take that opportunity to get to know a new city, get to know a new area, meet new people, and really use your licensure to its full potential and kind of break out of your little bubble. I think it's a great thing to do. I actually did this last year. I worked in San Jose, California from Los Angeles. So I was living in Los Angeles my whole life, and I moved out for a year to work in San Jose and to kind of take on a new experience of working in a different field, not a different field, but a different, I guess, environment when it comes to phlebotomy and the clinical laboratory. So I highly encourage it. There's community colleges up and down the state, so if you're still in community college and you have nothing tying you down, you can go to any California community college and study up there. You don't have to stay where you're at. So broaden your range, broaden your horizons when you're looking for a job. Don't just stay in your little bubble. So to get into it, when you're searching on Indeed, you search what position you're looking for and area. Oh, and again, the reason why I searched phlebotomy and not phlebotomist or phlebotomy technician is because, yeah, you can do that. You can search these specific um, keywords, but the problem is that if you search just phlebotomist, all that's going to come up is job postings that say phlebotomist or same for phlebotomy technician. But remember, phlebotomy is the skill that you have. Your skill set is phlebotomy. So you want to broaden that search so that it comes up with all these different job titles so that you're not limiting yourself to job postings that only say phlebotomy technician or only say phlebotomist. You want to search by the skill, okay, or by the licensure so that you have a broader range of or broader pool of jobs to search from. So if we scroll down, you're going to see all these positions. Another thing to pay attention to when you're searching on Indeed is the date that it's posted. So like right here, the date is 2 days ago, so that's pretty recent. But if we go down, like this one is from 30 days ago. So that's over a month ago. The chances are that position's been filled and this ad just hasn't been taken down, or they are not actively searching. For whatever the case is, try to go for things that are most recent. So right now I'm sorting out my search results by relevance, but I can sort them out by date. But the problem with going by date is that it's gonna bring up more of like positions that aren't what I'm looking for. So like it brings up medical assistants, operations manager, like they are just searching the phlebotomy keyword in their description. So like, right, I can't apply to an RN position. I'm not an RN, but somewhere here in this description, if I click on it, it's gonna mention phlebotomy, and that's why these come up when I put it in date. But it is good to find positions that are posted, closer to the date that you're actually looking at. So these are 2 days ago, 2 days ago, 2 days ago. So the list goes on and on. But that's pretty much what I have for Indeed. search a skill, your skill set, and search the location, but don't limit yourself to just your city. If you can broaden out and go up and down the state or, across the country, go ahead and take that chance and do it. You never know where you're going to end up. The next one I want to go over is LinkedIn. So a lot of people use LinkedIn to network and to kind of um, network. I guess that's what LinkedIn's for, and to have your application kind of in one place, because when you go to these different jobs or you look on like healthcare systems job postings, you can actually apply with LinkedIn. So I really encourage phlebotomists and everyone, all allied health professionals, to have a LinkedIn account. I have mine, so we're on my account right now. And I went to the job search, and again, I searched phlebotomy, the skill set, and I searched the state, so California. So it's kind of like Indeed, where it's a search engine. But if we scroll down, you're going to see a lot of different postings. And the good thing about LinkedIn is that they pull their postings pretty fast from these healthcare systems. And some jobs that you see on LinkedIn, you might not see on Indeed. That's why it's good to use different search engines. So like you can use Indeed and you can use Simply Hired. Those are very similar, but LinkedIn's a little different. So like here I have, a Quest position that I didn't necessarily see on Indeed. So if you're using different positions, if you're using different search engines, you're really broadening that horizon. But yeah, we scroll down and you'll find all these different positions. Scripps is in San Diego. It's a healthcare system. And again, you have to weed through kind of these like other positions that aren't what you're looking for, but it just searches the keyword, and so that's why they're popping up. And again, you can use LinkedIn to apply to these positions directly. So you use your LinkedIn profile, and it gives the employer kind of a better view of you, because if you're active on LinkedIn and they see that you know how to use social media very well, and they can see your skill set on your profile and the different things that you can go into on your profile, that's probably even better for you. If you guys want a video later on LinkedIn and what my LinkedIn looks like and how I've kind of catered it to the allied health profession, let me know, and I'll make another video, put it in the comments, or send me a message, say, hey, I want to see your LinkedIn. Can you show us tips on LinkedIn? And I'll make that video at a later date. So that's pretty much all I have for LinkedIn. It's another search engine. It's also a tool to use for networking. Oh, one more thing about LinkedIn. Let's say you're applying for a certain healthcare system like Kaiser or Dignity or Children's Hospital or something, and you have an interview coming up. Well, you can use LinkedIn to search people who already work for that healthcare system. So if I went up here, I'm not going to do it now, but if I'm applying to Kaiser and I want to find someone who works for Kaiser so that they can give me some insight on working for that company or on what the interview process or hiring process is like, I can do that. That's available to me by just reaching out to them with a message. So sometimes it's about who you know a little bit. Sometimes it's about getting insights and getting some of that knowledge so that you do much better in the hiring process. So feel free to take a full advantage of that. Use LinkedIn to your advantage. There's so many ways you can use it to find jobs and to really excel in that hiring process. So I highly, highly recommend that you guys make a LinkedIn. Next thing I wanted to go over is staffing agencies. So staffing agencies, if you don't know, they're these companies that partner with healthcare systems and hospitals to find the right employees. So if you're a phlebotomist, you reach out to a medical staffing agency, and when you reach out to them, you kind of apply to that staffing agency, and then they'll keep you on a file. And when they have a position available and they're looking for a position to fill, like a phlebotomist position or a CNA position or whatever your cert is, they'll call you and say, "Hey, I have this assignment. It's a year contract, or it's so much so and so long contract." You sign on the dotted line, and then they'll send you to that employer. The thing about staffing agencies is that there's pros and cons, right? So a pro is that they're going to find a job for you. And if you're a new grad, they might be a little more lenient on giving you that position. But a con is that they take a little bit of your pay. So let's say you want to work for a certain hospital and you go through a staffing agency, and for that hospital, they pay a phlebotomist $25 an hour. But when you go through a staffing agency, you might only get $20 an hour instead of the 25. So they take that $5 differential from you because you're on their payroll. That's how they make their money. They're taking a little bit of a cut of your pay, but in return, you get the experience and you're employed. So it's a give and take. I recommend these staffing agencies for people who are having a hard time finding a job, or if they're new grads. I definitely recommend it because they'll help you out a lot. It'll get you that experience. You make connections in the field, and you make an impression on your employer. And so if they staff you at a certain hospital, eventually that hospital might want to pick you up as a full-time or a part-time or a per diem employee, which is pretty cool to do. Not everybody does that, but if you make a good impression, you'll succeed. At the very least, you get your experience. So keep that in mind. Staffing agencies can be a good way to go, but I recommend that, or I don't recommend that you stay there forever. Don't go into this field and think like, oh, I'm working for a staffing agency for 20 years. You're wasting your time there. Work for them short term, get your experience, but then move on and work for a different healthcare system or work for the healthcare system directly. Don't just stay at the staffing agency. That's just my 2 cents. It's in my opinion. But both of these, KPG Healthcare and Quality Temp Staffing, are in Southern California, but they might branch out further. I'm not really sure. There's other staffing agencies throughout, like I think like Mindlance is another one, or ProCell Nurses. There's tons of staffing agencies. Just go on Google and search staffing agency, medical or healthcare staffing agency, and give them a call and ask them if they have positions for phlebotomists or if they accept your cert. And yeah, go from there. That's all I have to say about staffing agencies. Next tip I wanted to give you guys is go ahead and look on the healthcare system's website. So when you go on Indeed and LinkedIn, they pull these job postings directly from the healthcare system's website. The only thing is that sometimes Indeed and LinkedIn are a little late on pulling the application. I mean, not the application, I'm pulling the job posting. So although the job was posted, on Tuesday, LinkedIn might not pick it up till Friday. And so in that couple days span, you might have missed out on your opportunity because a bunch of people who were applying directly to the job site already applied to it and they took up the interview slots. So I recommend applying directly to the healthcare system itself. So I just Googled Dignity Health jobs, and the reason I picked Dignity Health as an example is because they're up and down the state. They're in Southern California, they're in Central, and they're in Northern California. They've spread really far, but there's also other healthcare systems like Kaiser, there's Providence Healthcare Services, there's a ton of them. So just find a hospital in your area and look at the healthcare system that runs it. And once you find that out, go on their job and look at their career section or their HR section, and you'll find a page similar to this. So on here, I search phlebotomy. Again, we're searching the skill set, and sometimes it lets you go more in depth. So I put laboratory because as a phlebotomist, I am in the clinical laboratory or pathology section of the hospital. And then when I searched it, I came down, and again, you can sort by job, you can sort by department, you can sort by shift, you can sort by location. It's up to you. But again, the broader, I think, the better because it gives you a larger pool of jobs to choose from. So if we look down, it shows us certified phlebotomist per diem. It shows us what shift. It shows us is it part-time, is it full-time. It shows us the location. These are all things you want to pay attention to. If we scroll down more, something that I mentioned earlier is job titles. So in these hospitals in this part of the state, they use certified phlebotomist as the job title. But if we scroll further down, you're going to see that they also have lab assistant postings. And again, these people who work for in these job areas are still CPT 1s. They still have the same cert, but the job title is different. So here in Southern California, let's see, San Bernardino, these were more in like Northern California. The other ones were in Northern California. These have lab assistant. And so the job is the same. There might be some variations, but they still have CPT 1s. So that's why I say don't just search phlebotomist, because if you would have searched phlebotomist, you might have found these positions, but you wouldn't have found lab assistant because phlebotomist isn't a keyword in their description. So search the skill set and then go from there. So these are lab assistants. If we scroll down, is it lab assistant, clinical lab, lead phlebotomist certified. Again, there are positions for you to move up in the allied health field, but you're not going to get them unless you work for the healthcare system directly rather than the staffing agency. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you for Dignity Health. I think in closing, guys, utilize all your resources. I try to stress to everyone I talk to when it comes to searching for a job is that if you're not spending the amount of time you would be at a job searching for a job, then are you really trying hard enough? So if you usually work 4 hours at a job and you're not in a job right now, you're unemployed, and you're not spending 4 hours a day searching for a new job, then I feel like you really aren't trying hard enough. You really want to exhaust all your options before you give up. Another thing that I tell people is that if you see these job postings and you really want to get into it and try to give it your best chance at getting that job, give them a call. So if I'm looking at Dignity Health and I see that their medical center in Merced has a job opening, I'm going to call that medical center. I'm going to call the Dignity Health in Merced. It's going to send me to the operator, and I'm going to say, hey, I want to speak to your clinical laboratory. They're going to transfer me there. Someone's going to pick up the phone, and I'm going to say, hey, I'd like to speak to the supervisor regarding an open job position. And they'll probably transfer you, and then you talk to that supervisor, let them know, hey, I just saw your job posting. I'm a phlebotomist. I was just wondering if you can give me more insight on the application or on the hiring process. Now, chances are they're going to tell you, oh, I need to transfer you to our recruitment team, or I'm not really sure, please apply online, and then go to our recruitment team, and that's fine. That's okay. The thing that you wanted is to get your name in there. You wanted them to hear your name and hear that you're interested, so that later when the recruitment team gives them a pool of applicants, they see your name and they're like, hey, I recognize that name, that person called, they must really want this job, right? So just because you're applying to a big healthcare system doesn't mean you can't track down that direct supervisor. It's about your drive and how much you want it. So I highly recommend that if you're really searching for these jobs and you really want it, then you give them a call and you exhaust all your resources. When I started off, when I got my CPT 1, I didn't get a job in phlebotomy until a year after I'd already had my CPT-1 license, and that's because I wasn't trying hard enough. I had already had a job working at a school and I was comfortable there, and so I kind of put phlebotomy on the back burner. But when I said, no, I need to work in phlebotomy, I got this license for a reason, I was laser focused and I called a bunch of places, and it took me like a month to get a job. And so that's what I like to stress to everyone who's looking for a job. If you're not spending the time you would at a job searching for a new job, then you're not trying hard enough. I think that's all I have to say about that, guys. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it inspired you. If you have any other questions on looking for a job, go ahead and message us at Allied Health Mentors, either on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. It all comes back to me, so I'll answer it. Leave a comment down below if you want me to do more videos like this, if you like this format, or if you have more questions, specific questions on certain employers. So, like, I've worked for different healthcare systems. If you want more insight on that, let me know. Or if you want more insight on just staffing agencies, let me know and I'll make that video at a later date. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And I think that's it. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.